everybody. How's it going? How's the audio? You okay? Can you hear me? Ah! I have crisps. That's right. And I have an exciting show tonight. I mean, tonight's show is like, it's different. Sound good? Somebody has a good idea this summer. Okay, thank you, Kitty Hannah. Good. So we had a hype train. That's amazing. Thanks, everybody. Where's the champagne? Okay, but it's great to see you. It's Tuesday night. I love a Tuesday night show. I do. The week is fresh. The audience is, I don't know, nubile. I don't know. I have a little bit of a greenish cast to the green screen. But you know what? If I didn't mention anything, maybe you wouldn't have even, no, you probably would notice. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I have been very excited for 48 hours to do the show that I'm going to do tonight. And then, content-wise, like quilt-wise. And then today, I had a meeting with, Faith is in the chat! Faith! It's so good to see you! What else can I do? It's great to see you, Faith. And thank you very much. The old orange hoodie's back. I was like, oh yeah, the old orange hoodie. So then, you know, we have an intern now. And I say we because we all are benefiting from Susanna. Susanna Makes. One of our very own quilt nerds was like, need an intern? And I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And we did more today together, with our heads together, than I thought was possible. Let me put it that way. It's very exciting. And let me just tell you right now, quilt nerds, for those of you who've been with me for some time, you got good news coming tonight. Oh, real good news. And there's a lot to say. And so I'm going to get into it. But I just want to tell you that Scrapitude, your daughter's name is Susanna. Let me tell you. Whoa, we have 2 hype trains. What? That's amazing. That's so awesome. Cool. I love that. I mean, yeah, I love the hype train thing. It's awesome. When you all show me your support, like it gives me the courage to go on, you know? As you know, if you've been here a while, you know, it's learning in plain sight, man. There's no hiding when you're doing a new platform live in the internet age, but whatever. So if you're new here, we come together Tuesday nights at 7 Central Time, and we come together Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. And every other Friday, we come together on a Friday at 7 p.m. because we read an old dusty magazine together. An old dusty quilt magazine together. And the reason that we just, I don't know, we nerd out on quilts is because quilts have so much to offer us. They give us history and art, design, stories, and all kinds of things. And we have a drinking game, and I haven't mentioned it in a while. I've got a bottle of tequila over there. It's been a long time since I pulled it out. Not that I want to pull it out, but the game is, and I say this because of the new people, Faith. I say this because for the new people out there who think quilts are like one thing, you know, you might want to know now, prepare thyself, that they're not just one thing. So the drinking game is that whenever we read or hear or come across some piece of media that says, these aren't your grandmother's quilts, it's a thing that newspapers will use that phrase. You know, people on TV will use that phrase, like, there's a quilt show in town, but these aren't your grandmother's quilts. Whenever we hear it, wherever we are, we take a shot. And Mary Kate, my friend and brilliant editor, and writer and host, anyway, we came up with that years ago. And so we use it now. And it's been a minute since we came across that, which is good. So our work is, we're making a difference in the world. But anyway, yeah, quilts are many things. And if you watch this show, even one episode, you will see this. And yeah, so that's why we're here. And you will like us a lot. Oh, wait a minute. What did Scrapitude say? Scrapitude says, that's my daughter's name, okay. And okay, wait a minute. So I think Scrapitude said something I knew I liked. I knew I liked you. I think that's what you said. Something about how you knew this was your community, right? And I think it's true. You know, we have a lot of people who are not guild people. We love the guilds. We love the guilds. We need the quilt guilds. Amazing, amazing. What guild system is as strong as the quilt guild system? You know, in America, North America, I should say, in North America and in the UK, in Australia. I mean, the quilt people, our guild game is strong. But some of us, you know, we're not good guild people. I'm a terrible guild person. So this is like our non-guild. And I'm sure other, you know, there's sewing groups and things, just like friends who get together and sew, and they're like, this is our anti-guild. So it's not like we're the first anti-guild. And by anti, I mean like matter and antimatter. I don't mean like anti, like we're against guilds. But this is like it's a different kind of thing. But we hang out. We hang out and we like it. So Bonnie is here, and Penny Catherine, and Word and Bird Nerd, and Sandy Tries, and Bonnie. Did I just say that? Jessica's quilting. Jessica, you're here. Oh, and we have new sounds on the sound effects board. I'm gonna need a bigger board. I think I know what I want for my birthday. Okay. Myra's here, and Jan Make Stuff is here, and a Nun Maker is here. Robin's Nest. Mother Nature. Bridgewater. Sewing Karen. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, can we just appreciate it's so okay? It's okay. It's like Saul Goodman. It's all good, man. So it's so okay. It's okay. Brilliant. And Kay is saying, I'm happy to be joining you live after a few weeks of company, travel, and other distractions, but I'm here tonight. Girl, you picked a good night. That's all I'm saying. Oh, a really good night. Ivy Kadivy. Faith, we've gone over it. We've gone over you, Faith. I'm so glad you're here. And Stitch and Deb. And everybody, and Tani's here. And Patty's here. Patty okra. I was traumatized by okra as a child. I didn't want to eat it. My grandma was from Mississippi, and she really wanted me to eat it. And I was like, okay, so if I haven't said hi to you, wait, Sewing Karen, thank you for subscribing with Prime. You've subscribed for 6 months. I really appreciate you. And actually, why wait any longer? Let's talk about subscriptions. So for the first time, finally, I should say finally. Hey, Susan and Dee Marie. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, I did skip ahead in the chat. But I just saw Hayden Hicks and Elle Riggs. I just saw Dee Marie has a question. Mary, I have a request. I like your music so much. Would you mind providing a playlist? I can absolutely provide a playlist. Provide playlist. It's interesting because I pay for Epidemic Sound is this service I pay for. Let me figure it out. Because it's not like on Spotify, because it's like copyright stuff. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Because yeah, you know, I was tapping my toe. And I hear that song, that playlist a lot, the Starting Soon playlist. And I was still like, yeah. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Today, hey Molly! I'm giving the small person a bath. Indeed. Raffles here, and Sonia, and Castle Crips, yes. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna share with you. It's a big deal. Susanna and I figured out, we figured out the subscription. Oh, I gotta get small, hang on. Help, I'm small. We figured out, let me pull this down, and then we'll talk about the intro quilt that you see on your screen there. We start with an intro quilt usually, but tonight there's such big news that we have to talk about it. So the subscription plan has been loosely in place, okay? Oh, wow, that's weird. Nope, I don't want to see myself. That is not what I want to see. Okay, no, that's okay. I know what to do. I don't want to do that. Nope, can't do that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you. If you go to the About page of my channel on Twitch, and I think can you do that while you're watching the show? I don't know. But if you do, when you click on the About page, the About tab, on my twitch.tv/YoMaryFons, you're going to see something new. And the thing that you will see is the subscription tier member benefits plan. That's right. Is this Quilts? Not yet. If you want to go away for like 10 minutes and come back to enjoy the quilts, that's cool. But this isn't very important for the people who I care about very much, and the people who in the future I will care about very much. I may not even know your name yet, but anyway, I hope that you come around. You know, this is a really great place to be. It's a great place to be. And there are benefits for being a subscriber. So I am going to tell you what they are, because there are 3 tiers of subscriptions to this channel. And first of all, you should know that if you subscribe at tier 1, you can do that for free through Amazon Prime. Okay? If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe to one Twitch channel every month for free. And this does not make any difference in your tier 1 benefits. So what do you get? What do you get for being a subscriber? Oh, Sonia's getting to know her guild. Okay, that's good. That's good. Retreats are awesome. Okay. When you subscribe at tier 1, you get all the emotes. And this is all listed on that about page, okay? You get the emotes. You get a badge next to your name in the chat that says, I'm a subscriber. You know, like, I'm special. Well, you know, you are special. You are special. You get access to our Discord, which is lively and great. I love our Discord. It's for the guild people, for the non-guild people. It's serving that function, you know. It's the chat. You're entered in all the giveaways, and I have giveaway news too. There's a monthly book giveaway. I guess that's kind of redundant, but yes, I'm launching a monthly book giveaway. I'll tell you about it. Ad-free viewing. You don't have to watch ads. You get badges in the chat, like, I don't know, if you earn things, you get different badges. I don't know. Twitch says that, and there's things you get. You gain channel points faster. What are channel points, you say? Some of you know. We haven't really talked about them, but that's the good news I have for you. People who have been watching this show for a long time. We'll get there. And you get exclusive discounts, like the AQSG discount that we've talked about. That kind of thing will be for subscribers. It's going to be a subscriber benefit. So if you're a subscriber at tier 1, you get all of that stuff. And then if you subscribe at tier 2, $9.99 a month, you get all of those things plus more emotes. And you get a postcard from me, a vintage quilt postcard. Some of them are very ugly. I mean, they're just like weird postcards from the 70s, but they have quilts on them, and I will write you a personal message. I enjoy it. And you get access to a monthly Sunday social. That's right. The Sunday socials where I just set up and we sew together for a few hours, that's going to happen once a month. And if you're a tier 2 subscriber, you can come every single month. And you get a discount on merch, 15%. And then tier 3, I mean, figuring out this tier structure has been quite, I don't know, I've never done it before. I've never done this before. And then for tier 3, which is $25 a month, so far, we don't have tier 3 subscribers. That's totally fine. I didn't have anything to really offer you, but I've been figuring this out, and thank you to Susanna. And then, Scrapitude joined AQSG. That's so great. Oh my God, Lauren Kroon. It is Louis. Yes, it's a Carolyn Mazlumi quilt. We're going to get there super soon. But I wanted to go through this. It's all on the About page. So if you just came in, it's all there. And for tier 3 subscribers, and this is all, it's still evolving, but for tier 3 subscribers, you get all of the things that tier 1 and tier 2 get, plus special emotes. Plus, you get a free merch pack. The merch is coming, including, by the way, pencils. I'm really wanting a rubber stamp. You know what I'm wanting? And I've been looking at it. It's very expensive, so I have to figure out how to do it. But wouldn't it be great to have a Quilt Nerd approved rubber stamp that you could stamp inside all of your used books that you buy? And it would be like Quilt Nerd approved. And you could put your, by Padma, It's a used book. It's, it's a crack up. But anytime, so when somebody else had that book in the future, they would be like, Quilt Nerd approved. I love it. They wouldn't even have to know about the show to love that it was Quilt Nerd approved. So I'd love to sell that in a shop, but I have to figure it out. They're not cheap. Anyway, but totes, pencils, all kinds of things. I've been working on it. And then for tier 3, the last thing, and then we'll move on, a VIP invite to a happy hour live stream with me and a special guest. Once a month, there will be a tier 3 happy hour fun time. Won't just be whatever. An hour is not like a hard stop. Could be my mom. Could be a quilt world luminary. I know a few. And if you're a tier 3 subscriber, you can invite as many people as you want. They have to be non-subscribers because otherwise, like, I don't know. It'd be like, it has to be special. So but you could, if you had a guild and you wanted to like hang out with like me and mom over Zoom, but you can just bring as many people as you want. What do you think? Quilt District! Oh my God! Ah! Okay, everybody, wait a minute. Okay. I'm not going to dox you if I say who you are, right? Quilt District. It's your website. In fact, I have your website pulled up. I think it's going to be okay. It's okay, right? She's a very special person. She's a very smart person. She is a quilt world luminary. Okay, it's Tara Miller. Ah! That's the champagne cork. And just like, because the show is hot, is what I'm trying to get at. Tara Miller is in the chat, everybody, and that's the announcement that I'm going to give next. Tara, that's so cool that you're here. So anyway, here is what we're going to do next. Oh, good. Dee Marie agrees with the tears. Well done. I'm very glad that you feel that way because you are wise about these things. So anyway, so go to the About page. About tab on my channel page, and you will see all of this. And it's very exciting. The merch is on the way. I am able to even do that because y'all are here. So I really appreciate you. And even if you just follow me, even if you just watch the show, if you just watch the show, it's free. Where's that jazz? You don't ever have to pay to watch the show. Those are all perks, and they're great. But if you just want to hang out and be with a really cool community, you can do that. And nerd out on quilts. Okay, so let's see. I know, the stamp. Quilt Nerd approved would be great. All right, so I am going to tell you about this quilt because the quilt behind me is part of the show because it's part of this announcement. This announcement about and Tara's here. So the quilt that you see behind you, I'll make it small. Help, I'm small. This is a quilt made by the great Carolyn Mazlumi. This quilt, let me zoom in on it, is called Getting Dizzy. Hang on, we've got... Yeah, okay, so Chicago, you're so troubled. Lots of sirens. So anyway, so Carolyn Mazlumi is somebody that, if you don't know who that is, you're watching the right show because learning about who has made a huge difference in the quilt ecosystem, the quilt system. Tara, you might be interested in this. I was reading a book about it was called it wasn't the history of art, but it was the invention of art. And what was his name, Miller? Anyway, but he talked about how he was going to discuss, the evolution of like what fine art is and how fine art came to be and how craft and art were sort of cleaved in half and why it became different, art versus craft. And he said, I'm going to refer to the art system instead of the art world. Because the art world kind of it kind of suggests like the gallery world and like the art world. But he's like, really, it's a system. The whole thing is a system. So I've been kind of enjoying, hey, Bip. Oh, great. Dee Marie, thanks. So the quilt system, right? Because I've always said the quilt world, but maybe it's really a quilt system. Anyway, so Carolyn Mazlumi is a person within the quilt system who has done immeasurable good for us all. And she is a quilt maker, and she is also a scholar. She also has a degree in aerospace engineering, I believe. Yeah, she like knows space. So there's that, but yeah. So and she founded the Women of Color Quilters Network. I'm going to read I'm going to read you her bio from Masters 1, which is the Sakwa book. I'll put a link in the chat here in a minute if you want to purchase this book. It's great. And you can use my affiliate link. But while I sort of take you from top to bottom on this quilt so you can enjoy like the details, here is what Martha Seelman of Sakwa wrote about Carolyn L. Mazlumi. Quote, "3 themes are prominent in Carolyn L. Mazlumi's work: celebrating women, celebrating jazz and the blues, and abstract work that celebrates her love of color. Her self-taught applique style uses fabrics from all over the world. Mazlumi works intuitively. She says the fabrics speak to her, telling her where they want to be placed. Many of her narrative quilts remind women of their power in the role of raising children. Other works record her memories of the treatment of African Americans received when she was growing up in the 1950s and during the Civil Rights Movement. Her music-themed quilts are expressions of joy, celebrations of the music she loves. Recent abstract works experiment with a spontaneous improvisational approach. Founder of the Women of Color Quilters Network in 1985, Mazlumi has worked tirelessly for more than 20 years to create a community of more than 1,700 quilters, networking, educating, curating, and promoting exhibitions and writing books about African American quilting." So I've got a couple other quilts from Carolyn Mazlumi. People who know her call her Dr. Maz or Maz. She's won so many awards. This is a picture of Mazlumi from the book Communion of the Spirits by Roland L. Freeman. This is her. So this is her Carolyn with her son Damien, taken in 1993. But I mean, this is this woman's life, right? I mean, it's like. I mean, I don't know how many awards she's won, for Lord's sake. I mean, it's like she just, the Smithsonian has honored her. She's gotten grants and awards and all kinds of things, and she's really, really neat. And she wrote the introduction to the second edition of Rod Kirikoff's book, published by Quilt Folk and Schiffer Publishing, Unconventional and Unexpected. The new foreword. And so she's really cool, and she's so generous. She's one of the most generous people I've ever met in the quilt industry. She's always willing to lend a hand and share what she knows. So, Kitty Hannah, do the stories for the child and then run back because there's a lot to share. So this is another Mazlumi quilt. So the reason that I wanted to make sure to talk about Carolyn Mazlumi, and there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Dr. Mazlumi, but I had to make sure to talk about her tonight because there is a special event. Tara Miller, Quilt District, in the chat, and all those welcome baskets are for you, Tara. Because you're here, and you're welcome here. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, sorry. I was really looking away from the chat. So if I miss something, I will try to catch up. Anyway, so on June 12th, which is Saturday, and I'm going to make sure to get. I don't want to get anything wrong. I have your website pulled up, Tara. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go right here. Oh, here. It's right here. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go like this. Can you all see that? I want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So this is Tara's website, and you should follow her on all the things. Quilt District. I mean, Instagram. She's great. I mean, like, and I've told you before. Like, I told you last time we met, and I've said many times, that Tara wrote a piece in the Fabric of a Nation book, the big MFA, Museum of Fine Arts Boston show. And this is very cool. Sunday. Wait, okay, hold on. Yeah, no, June 11th and 12th. Okay, this is why I pull up the thing. So there is a symposium, okay, happening on June 11th and 12th, the Atlanta Quilt Studies Symposium. And she's going to be interviewing Carolyn Mazlumi, okay? So you can go to the thing and you can attend the entire sort of experience. You can also tune into the discussion that she'll be having with Carolyn Mazlumi. So Tara Miller and Carolyn Mazlumi, kind of a big deal. So I've got the link. It's an Eventbrite link that, you know what, one of my mods, do you have that link that you could put in the chat? Because I had it with me. Hey, Grover. Ann Hamill's in the chat. Ann Hamill. Who else is out there? I mean, I don't think Bisa Butler's out there. Probably not. But maybe. You don't have to say anything, Bisa. I know. I get it. You're lurking. I mean, if I were you, I'd probably lurk too. Okay, if you could. Okay, thanks. Okay, oh, thank you. Quilt District. She could probably put the link in the chat. But you can attend this talk, and I believe it is 5. Oh, hold on. I believe it's 6:30 my time, Central Time, but I'm not going to say it. Okay, here. Yeah. So here is the link for the talk. I believe it is $10. Yes, it's Saturday, June 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So for me, yes, okay, that's great. It's 5:30 Central. And it's Building a Legacy, African American Quilt History with Dr. Carolyn Mazlumi. So, and it's presented by the Atlanta Quilt Study Symposium and the Quilt District. And I'm going to be there, and you should be there. And I know a few of you said last time you already bought your tickets, which is great. It is not, truly it's not to be missed. Like I said, like, you know, if you are aware of the quilt system, interested in what this world is, Maz, man. Dr. Maz and Tara Miller. Doesn't get much better than that. And then on Saturday night, by the time the talk's over, you'll roll right into Quilt Nerd at 8 p.m. Central Time. Pretty much, I've got your Saturday night on lock. I don't know. So that is really good. Hey, Molly. Molly's 14th wedding anniversary today. June rules. June does, indeed. It does. 6:30 Eastern Time. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining that ahead of time. I'm just going to thank you all because I know you're going to be there. And then we can talk about it. That's the thing. You can't miss it because we're going to talk about it on the show. Yeah. And I think, yeah, so that's our intro quilt. And Carolyn Mazlumi is amazing. She's written many books, Spirits of the Cloth. We talked about Michael Cummings months ago from her book, Threads of Faith. God. Terry, you're making me nervous. Oh, God. So yeah. Good things. Okay, so now I want to tell you what this show's about. I have more announcements, but I mean, there's been a lot of announcements. So let's just talk about what I was going to talk about. I have been flummoxed. I've been very curious about something. I need jazz for this. Okay. I've got a whole thing set up. This is a different kind of show than I've done before because, okay, I love Pauline Verbiage, okay? And I'm going to show you, if you don't know Pauline Verbidge's work, you're going to see a lot of it here in a minute. Pauline Verbiage, based in the UK, art quilter, early, in the game, real early, okay? She was going to be at the Quilt Museum 25th anniversary gala. She could not make it. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know why they didn't talk about it, but she was unable to attend. A big drag. I really wanted to meet her. I will, maybe someday. Her early work is like I just, it's a quilt church moment for sure. And then, and I'm not trolling here, but I don't know, she kind of, her later work doesn't move me as much. And like, that doesn't mean, it's just my taste. Yeah, it's not my taste, it's brilliant. She's a brilliant artist, period. There's just, no debate about that. But her style changed drastically, I think. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Now, Michael James also is a luminary he'll probably never be on this show. I just don't think he does many appearances. But he also, his early stuff, and if you watched that gallery tour at Lincoln, we saw Aurora, right? Which was much bigger than I thought it was going to be, but Michael James, and I'm going to show you a picture of Aurora. I'm just giving you a taste of what's going to happen because it's a little bit different than normal. Okay. Michael James's style also totally changed over the years. Like he went from like graphic and like optical illusion-ish with his quilts into this other style. And it looks a little bit like Pauline Verbidge's style. I'm saying that the style's changed and there's a similarity, I think. And the other person we're going to see is Jan Meyer's Newbery. And Jan Meyer's Newbery, sometimes just Jan Meyer's, is another, I'm a stan for her, big time. But, and her style also changed a lot over the years. Now, obviously, I'm not an artist. I'm a creative person. I like to do creative things. I'm not an artist. Artists, the reason that they are what they are is because they push boundaries and they push forward and they change and they explore and they're curious above anything else. They want to try something, see something. So they're doing exactly what they should be doing. In no way do I want to say like one thing was better than the other. But here's the thing, and this is what we're going to dive into now. I have been rather obsessed with Quilt National lately, okay? Quilt National. There's books for all the years. It's a biannual show. It's a biennale. The Dairy Barn, so this is Nancy Crow's deal, right? Out in Ohio. I've never been. Totally gonna go in 2023. Let's make it a thing. We can like meet up there and hang out. And it's a contemporary art show. It's like cutting edge art stuff. The first one was in 1979, the year of my birth. And it's been at the forefront of studio art quilt stuff for a long time. Hey, Linda ARP, it's good to see you. And you got your Dr. Maz and Tara Miller ticket. I'm so glad. I'll be there. Maybe I'll give a free prize to any nerd that asks a question. I don't even know if there's a Q&A, but maybe. Anyway, so this is so there's a book, okay, and the 1980s art quilts, I'm so interested in them, and they were really lame to me when I was growing up. I was like, because I don't know, I was a teenager and nothing was cool except something that my friends and I came up with, so it was like, but I just didn't get it, I didn't get art quilts. Okay, so this is from 1989. This is the book from 1989. Okay, so then the other day, what came in the mail? 1999. 10 years later. Interesting. The soundboard is so cheesy. And I don't have 2009 yet, but I did have 2011. So I'm looking at these books and I'm like, what happened? What is the deal? What is the deal? Why did all of these, like many of these artists go from like this one style into this other style? And I'm just gonna take you through this. And it's not like some caper, just things change, styles change. 1980s arts quilts look different from art quilts today. Oh, I gotta get small. Help, I'm small. So I put together a little, everyone's talking about poop. I'm like on the case. I'm like, there's a case and I'm on it. And I'm like trying to draw these things. And you know what? I scanned so many things yesterday and today, so many, that I was like, I don't even know if this is that big of a deal. I don't even know that it like warrants a show, because it's the main event tonight. And by the way, Crosley at home has a ticket for Dr. Maz. Y'all. Tara, I hope you see these quilt nerds. They are intense. In the best way. By the way, there's going to be another after the break. I'll come back and I'll tell you about the Quilt Nerd on Parade show and the movie nights that are coming up this summer and the anniversary show. So just stick with me. There's a lot more to come, and we're going to talk about channel points, and all of you have thousands and thousands of channel points that have been accruing and we haven't used them, and I'm going to tell you what you get when you use them. Anyway, that's after the break. So here we go. Nerds got presents. You know what, Linda? The nerds we're gonna represent. We're gonna represent at the show on the 11th. Okay, Jan Meyer's Newbery. Okay, many of you will recognize this quilt. M. Hicks got her ticket. Oh, Ivy Kadivy, you're following me? Okay, good. Oh, good. God, thank you for saying that. Okay. This is one of the first art quilts that ever caught my eye. My mom and I gave a lecture called You Call That a Quilt? And we talked about quilt styles. Traditional, studio art, contemporary, modern. It's pretty good. We don't lecture together anymore, but if you want to see us together, subscribe at Tier 3. Give you a VIP. Anyway, so I remember seeing this and I was really intrigued. And this is a very large quilt. This is called Depth of Field Plain View 3, I think. It's something like 108 by 90 something. And I liked it because it's cool, but also, as a new quilter, when I was looking at this stuff, and like I said, I wasn't into art quilts. Hey, great, Robin, that's awesome. Yeah, exactly, word Bernard, exactly. So she hand dyed, so I noticed that there was like sashing and cornerstones in this quilt, because I was new and I was really learning like the different parts of a quilt, but I noticed that, like I had that terminology and I was like, okay, so she, that's like traditional, but she's really subverted this, she's changed this, she's blown it out of the water, basically, and hand dyeing her own stuff. This quilt is ridiculous. It's bananas. It's beautiful. I love it so much. Like, what a talented person. And this was made in, hang on, I've got it. Okay, so I have another picture of this quilt, which looks very different. This is the same, Depth of Field 3, plain view, 84 by 131. I mean, this looks like a different quilt, but it's the same. I mean, I took it from, the Quilt National, one of the Quilt National books, I believe. Anyway, so this looks much different. We talked about color differences in quilts. Such an eye trip. I know, says Quilt District. Such an eye trip. I wonder how many times she put those pieces together backwards. Yeah. Exactly. And maybe one time she put something together the wrong way and she was like, finally, the shade of magenta I've been looking for, So anyway, so she's doing this. Here's a picture of it on the wall. I found this on someone's Flickr. I don't know where, but wonderful. Yeah, totally, right? So then here is another, this was interesting. I wanted to find more. I look at these books and I find Jan Meyer's Newbery quilts everywhere. And then I'm like racing around to find another example of her earlier work. I can't find one, but this is called Anemone, 1981. Jan Meyer says, quote, "In Anemone, I feel as though I'm peering through a veil of steel blue water to the world of color that undulates on the ocean floor. Living in Minnesota, this is, of course, a National Geographic fantasy." But look again, I mean, even in black and white, it's kind of great, right? You get that contrast, you have an understanding of the contrast. It looks amazing. It looks like steel blue water. It looks like aluminum or something. Okay, so then, here's one more. Okay. So this is from 1988. And this is a good transitional. I really tried to put these in order in a way that would be compelling. So 1988, okay, so this is like 7 years after that one we just saw. She's still doing these color ombre kind of things, okay? This is great. I love it so much. Hand-dyed, still doing this. And then it changes. 1999. So 11 years later, the person who made this is making this. Now, there's similarities, obviously. There's a grid happening. In this quilt, she has hand-dyed that sort of suggests like a botanical thing, this sort of shibori-ish thing. There's like organic things happening here, okay? But this is very different to me. And this little piece there that's lighter, that's just my tab. I love a tab. So that's not part of the quilt. Could be. Batik-like, yes. Ooh, Little Bird Stitch says, I love her shibori pieces the most. Well, would you like to see some more? Glad you said yes. Here's another. Jan Meyer's Newbery, 2010. This, by the way, and this one, is 49 by 49 inches. Small, very small. Not a mini, but very small. And those other ones were very large. So it changed. And I mean, this quilt is just ridiculous. Look at this. I mean, and part of the fun of doing this tonight and showing you kind of just what I've been thinking about is that we get to look at amazing quilts. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful things. I know, Raffle. Me likey. Hey, my great cats. It's good to see you. Kitty Hannah said, is it photo printed fabric? Okay, Quilt District. A very good question. I have, where is it? Okay, here. Okay, I'm going to read this to you from Masters 2. Okay, first of all, let me put in the chat really quick. The quiltnerd.link. I am an A Books affiliate. Art Quilt Masters 1. Quilt Nerd. And Raffle, you're working the book list thing. You might have to update the Masters, Art Quilt Masters book link because it changed. Quiltnerd.link/quilt. Okay, so Quilt National. Anytime I'm talking about quilts from 1999, we'll get there. Actually, I'll wait to put those in. Okay. So this is about Jan Meyer's Newbery from Masters 2. You see, quilt that we saw earlier. It's very short. Inspired by the colors, and this was published in 2011. Okay. On it, boss. Oh God, I love it. I don't know. Okay. Jan Meyer's Newbery. Inspired by the colors she is able to create in her dye baths. And we know that now. That she does that. Jan Meyer's Newbery uses a variation of Japanese Arashi shibori to produce the seductive hues that make her quilts glow. During the Arashi shibori process, Meyer's Newbery wraps white fabric around a pole and lashes it with string or thread, then submerges it in a series of dye baths. The wrapping and tying result in thin lines of color that enliven the surfaces of her quilt. So Tara, I think that is what's going on here. But she might be painting too. Meyer's Newbery begins each new quilt by playing with fabric on her design wall, and color dictates nearly all of her creative decisions. She cuts her fabric into squares and rectangles, then arranges and rearranges the shapes until they coalesce into an ordered whole. Echo so high, and Padma, it's good to see you. I thought you were already here. Anyway. Okay, so piecing the components together smoothly, taming the colors into strict geometric relationships, is part of the quilting process that Meyer's Newbery enjoys the most. She follows the shibori lines and linear elements with machine quilted lines, taking care that she doesn't intrude on the primacy of the color interactions. The results are works of luminous beauty that offer refuge from the chaos and disorder of daily life. Thank you, Martha Sandlin. Okay, so, but just remember, boom, boom. Okay? Who else did we talk about? Pauline Verbiage. You know this person, right? We've talked about her a lot. She's so cool. I love these. They're sort of MC Escher-like. To me, Pauline Verbiage, along with Nancy Crow and Jan Meyer's Newbery, I mean, there's a lot of people, but really, I mean, really shaped what the art quilt was going to do. They were really doing cool stuff, and it was Pauline Verbiage is like very, was iconic. I mean, I just think her quilts are really iconic, and they still are, but they're very different now, and they remind me of what Jan Meyer's Newbery did also. So, like, both of these women in the early part of the art quilt movement were doing things like this. Art Deco, totally. You all know that Grover 346 is Echo So's mom. I don't know if you knew that, but it's been said on the show, so I can say it. So intense. Echo So was like, intense! Freaking brilliant, right? Right. So, and by the way, when I was like gathering all these things, I had not ever seen this particular Pauline Verbiage quilt, which is just like, it's insane. 1990. I didn't crop my picture very well, but you can see striped canopy, 1990. I mean, what is going on here? How is she piecing this? Is that strip piecing? I mean, what exactly? what exactly is happening there? Honestly, I don't know. Usually I can be like, okay. But this particular area, I mean, I can identify a strip there, you know, we can kind of see that. I guess it's strip piecing, right? But I mean, you just hate her for what she can do. Yeah, pretty wonderful, pretty extraordinary. Here's one more. Okay. So this is 1990. Then things start to change a little. Oh, this one. This is classic Burbidge. Really. Liz D. Liz D, were you here before? Anyway, it's good to see you. Strips, then slicing those curvy bits from it. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. So she's making strip sets and then slicing the curves out of that strip set. Okay, that makes sense. A Nunmaker says it looks like strip piecing cut into curves. Okay, yeah. D. Marie also says yes. So this is called Spirals 1. And I just think, I mean, you know what's great about this quilt? It's blocks. It's block based. That's all. And it's the same block, isn't it? It's the same block, just with different fabrics being used, right? I mean, or is it 2 blocks? I guess it's 2 blocks, right? I think it's just 2 blocks. Anyway, it's great. And this is, I don't have a date on it. This came from one of the Quilt National books. Anyway, so then things start to change. 1994. The lines are softer. There's a shimmering. I would say you could maybe suggest, it would suggest a little like water, whereas before, you know, architectural, graphic. But here there's some waves. Perhaps a little, what is this? I mean, that's fabric. That's not pieced, right? This blue up at the top. Good God. But how did she achieve that? Like an ocular migraine. Word and bird nerd. You know what? If you're on the borderline and having a headache, maybe Pauline Verbiage is not the way to go. But this is interesting, right? So it's changed. There are a few hard edges here. It's still a block-based quilt, I would offer. It looks like a reflection of buildings and water. Oh, Kitty Hannah, that's really good. That's a really good insight. So it's like the buildings of her former quilts, but reflected in a pool. Okay, let's see what else. 2002. We're going forward in time. And like I said, there's not some mystery. I'm not like on some hunt. It's just interesting to me how these things have changed. And because when you look at Jan Meyer's Newbery, and now we're in Pauline Verbiage, and we're going to go to Michael James next, and then we're going to look at we're going to look at the 1989 quilts, some of them from Quilt National, and then we're going to look at 2011, and the difference between 89 and 2011 is crazy. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about it and just do it. Okay, so here's Pauline Verbiage, years later. The quilting is at the fore. Is she painting? I don't know. From drizzle, oh God, you guys are so smart. Great. A Nunmaker says from drizzle to hurricane rain. I love it. Little Bird Stitch, advancing into abstraction. Exactly. What are these squiggles? Is it painted? I don't know. See, I could ask her all these. It's really great. It looks like an oil slick. I mean, it does look like you're looking into a puddle of some kind, right? So interesting. Okay. From drizzle to hurricane rain. Now. Oh, 1998. Okay, so this is back a little bit, but you know, things don't follow a straight line. I mean, it's for sure water or a puddle, you know. So she's in the UK. I think she lives in Scotland or Wales. I forget, but she's definitely in the UK. And, you know, maybe it's a London sidewalk after the rain that might have inspired her. But at any rate, it's it also kind of looks like a television set. You know, static on a television set or something. But I mean, compared to that or this, I mean, and you can, it's not like these were made by different people, they're so different. No, I mean, she's still using a block structure, a grid, but it's different. And then, you know, there's more and more of this sketchiness. Now, what you should look at here is this the border, because this is like where it all goes in my view from what I've been looking at. This like thin line, sketchy. She lives in Scotland. Thank you, Word and Bird Nerd. I appreciate you. Yeah. So this sort of sketchbook, more curves. Okay. Now, this is what I wanted to get to. This is 2003. To me, this is like completely different. And when you look, and it's great, when you look at Jan Meyer's Newbery stuff too, do you see what I'm saying here? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? There is a nature, like nature has come to live with these artists in a different way. And here's a piece from the master's book. It says, quote, "Learning to dye my own fabric for quilt making opened up possibilities for any color I choose to dream up. My current use of transparent fabrics, texture, pleating, and ruching, and fabric painting all hold exciting possibilities for new work." So this is 2003. And yeah, you love this. Joyous Fibers loves it. I love it too. I mean, it's very cool. Look how she's quilted just the top third of this one. This is interesting. That's very cool. Very cool. But this is an organic thing. And look, 38 by 38. 38 by 38 inches. This is a smaller work too. Jan Meyer's also went smaller. Depth of field, plain view is enormous. And then she's doing like 46 by 46. I don't know. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. Here's one more Pauline Verbiage. I think this one is a little, 2003. And I think there was one I looked at and they were actual feathers. I'm not sure if this is, it looks like maybe not cyanotype, but you know, it was transparent. She was talking about transparent fabric. I mean, it's really cool. But to me, it's just, wow, it's just so very different from the earlier stuff, in the same way that Jan Meyer's Newbery stuff was really different. Miscellany, hi. Miscellany loves it. Everybody loves the feathers. And Nunmaker says, I think that is where the textures are coming from, fabric painting with dyes. And you know, we've said before, I say it all the time, that, you know, quilts evolve the way, you know, technology evolves and quilts evolve along with it. You know, long arming became the thing, and so a lot of quilts, you know, that weren't long-armed before, you get sort of a pantograph thing happening a lot, you know, as more people are long-arming. And, you know, in the 1930s, that green dye was available, and so everybody had that mint green, institutional green sort of color fabric in their quilts. I mean, the world shows up in quilts. That's why they're so interesting. And so different fabric dyes, different processes that people are doing, you know, different computer programs, like maybe Burbidge and Jan Meyer's Newbery and Michael James started doing more because they could. Okay, so now let's go to Michael James. One second. Pauline Verbiage. Hang on. I want to do a thing. Okay, well, I had a Michael James placard, you know, just like Jan Meyer's Newbery, but I don't know where it went. That's okay. I have his quilts ready, and that's all that matters. So, Michael James. We know this one. We know it well. We saw it in person. Hey! Oh my God. Hey, it's the first time chat from Ollie and Ruby. Ollie and Ruby. Blech. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome baskets in the chat for Ollie and Ruby. Welcome to Quilt Nerd. It's I don't know, like, it's an interesting thing to spend your time doing. It's like looking at quilts. I mean, if you thought that quilt was interesting, I think you should stick around. Stick around for a little while. You might see more stuff that you like. This quilt that you're seeing now is very famous. It is like famous. And yes, there are famous quilts. And if you're a quilt person, you already know that. But we have viewers who aren't quilt people who just like the show because we look at pretty things and talk about things that we think are pretty interesting. So this quilt is really famous, and it was made in 1979 by Michael James. And it's big. 96 by 108, and I think we all kind of like were surprised by that when we saw it in person at the Quilt Museum. Even if we knew what measurement it was, I mean, you have this satin. Sorry, the picture is a little cocked to the side. It's kind of silly. Ooh, there we go. And yeah, so he's doing work like this, and he made a name for himself doing work like this. I have many other examples to show you. Look, Out of Line, 1994. I'm going to pop over here, and I'm going to remind you what Pauline Verbiage was doing. I'm going to remind you what Jan Meyer's Newbery was doing. Grids, graphic, lines, geometric, da-da-da. Fabulous. Look at this one. Sun Treader. Oof. 1980. I mean, are you seeing this quilt? It's so great. Who could use this fabric to such a great effect? Groundbreaking. Absolutely Little Bird Stitch. I mean, nobody was doing this stuff with quilts. And I don't know. I think all the people we've looked at, like if you could make a painting, like you could make, sorry. You could do this work in paint. And, you know, to me, the question is like, okay, let me put it to you this way. I've always been a Tori Amos fan. Okay. I will be until I die. And one of the things I love about Tori Amos, stay with me here, is that when she does a cover, when she covers somebody else's song, for example, Smells Like Teen Spirit, okay, Nirvana, that song rules, and it's rock and roll. And when Tori Amos covers it, she is singing with a piano. So she makes it sort of legato, and she's making this song into something new. She's not just trying to play the song like Nirvana. She's bringing her own thing to it. When I hear a cover, some band is doing a cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it just sounds the same, only someone else is singing it. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you bringing to this song to do anything? You're just singing it, you know? I want you to bring something else, and a great cover can do that, like Johnny Cash singing 9 Inch Nails. Anyway, so if you're gonna make a quilt, a piece of art that's a quilt, like there are some art quilt people, I guess, who make a painting, but they make it out of fabric instead of tempera paint or something. And it's like, well, why make a quilt then? Just make a painting. And so it's the art quilters who use the medium, who use the form of the quilt and what it can do and what it can bring. The people who do that are really doing something exciting and pushing things. Oh, Quilt District! Tori Amos, I knew it. I knew you were a Tori Amos fan. I don't know. I just feel it. You were thinking about Little Earthquakes yesterday. It's a perfect album. Voice for Pele is my favorite, but anyway, so everyone loves you, Tara. You have to come to the show all the time. So the motion, exactly. So what Michael James has done here is what I think a painting couldn't do. He's doing something with the quilt form that a painting you wouldn't, because these curves that he's in the quilting. In the quilting, there are these beautiful shell-like curves in each of the pie wedges. You know, each of the blocks. They're blocks. They're quilt blocks. It's all quilt blocks. But he's made it into something special because there's this texture, there's this softness. And so I hope that makes sense. I mean, I really see him as, you know, earning every bit of, you know, his like prominence, like in the world of quilt history and his place in quilt history. He did amazing things with color and quilts, okay? Oh, and this is great. I just wanted to show you. So this is another great quilt, but look at it hanging in the room. Look at this great shot. He says, quote, "Light holds fascination for the quilt maker." Light holds fascination for the quilt maker, suggesting the movement of light across a surface or creating the illusion of light coming out from the image can be intriguing involvements. I love this house. I would like to live there. There are sconces, architectural details, a bench with a cashmere throw. I'm into it. And that's the quilt that's hanging there. Okay, so what are you saying to us, Mary? Oh, 2003. It's just so different. Great framing in the photo. I agree, my great cats. Can lights. It's can lights. So, yeah. Okay. So here, check this out too. This is great. So from Masters 1, look how thick this book is. This is very thick. Okay. Michael James. All right. This was published, Masters 1 was published, like 19, sorry, it's important, it's very important, 2008, okay? After more than 20 years of exploring the infinite variations possible in manipulating pieced stripe forms, Michael James completely changed his style. No. In 2002, he began working with digitally developed and printed fabric to explore iconic figures and patterns drawn from historic sources. Yes, digital printing. See, exactly. Listen, Little Bird Stitch, you've got it. Digital printing at home, right? You could load your computer up with a thing and print it on a Epson or whatever. The ability to incorporate this is from 2016, the ability to incorporate photographic elements and to manipulate them using design software has led him to fabric surfaces that hold a different kind of narrative and expressive meaning. He says he is interested in representing, quote, the idea of dual realities existing side by side or within one another, unquote. For a metaphysically inclined thinker, this new way of working allows James to broaden the poetic resonance of his work. While some of this work references traditional patchwork and his older style of design, which we know well now, most of it is starkly simple in its structure. And focuses instead on the meanings inherent in the emotional core around which the work is conceived and organized. Leaf, Veins, and Stones. Leaf, Veins, and Stones. Kitty Hannah. Kitty Hannah says, I recently rented both of the Masters books from my local library. I got in trouble for sneaking peeks at them at work. You know what? You're a troublemaker. You're a troublemaker. Ooh. Okay, so I'm always seeing nature, but that's obviously a brick wall, right? Obviously. Yeah. Starting to look organic again. Exactly, Liz D. Yes, Penny Catherine, you've got it. The latest works of each of these seem more connected to nature, more grounded. And I'll be 43 soon. I feel like I say that on every show now. But I'll be 43 in a couple months. And the things that I enjoy today, if you had told me I would enjoy them, 10 years ago, I'd be like, well, you obviously gave up. All your goals and dreams, really you do want to go home and be with your husband and play Tetris, really? Although I've stopped playing Tetris when I get home at night, I have been stitching again because I just can't not produce something. You can't just be fun. So yeah, but I life does change. The pace of things does change, or probably should. And so if you have, these artists are growing older, they are learning more. And I happen to know, and it's public knowledge, this is an interesting quilt. I know that Michael James is married now to his second wife. By the way, this quilt, it's called A Strange Riddle 3. It's made in 2002. It's 35 by 48 inches. Oh, smaller. Remember Aurora in 1979, how huge it was? They're all getting smaller. It's so interesting. But his first wife, Judy, had early onset Alzheimer's, and he was her caretaker for a long time, for years, I believe. And she did pass away. So this is interesting. I'd never seen this quilt before. Amnesiac. I remember baby shoes and things. So that's an interesting thing too. Life is long if it's a privilege if life is long and you go through a lot of things, right? A lot of things. Yeah. The Pantheon, the part on the left is from A Structure in Rome. Oh, interesting. Capital Rotunda. Yeah, all of these references. So just a couple more, I think. Yes, just one more for Michael James. And then I'm going to show you some stuff that I think maybe connects all of this together. I don't know. But you look at this. I mean, look at that. And look at this. I mean, it's really wild. It's really different. It's really, really different, these things. So I've just been thinking about it, because when I look at Pauline Verbiage, when I look at Jan Meyer's Newbery, I'm like, why did everybody go all au naturel? Like, what was the deal? Okay. So let's take a look. Oh, Robin's Nest. It's so poignant. Robin's Nest said that the amnesia, the riddle, let's look at it. A strange riddle is poignant because your mom has stage 3 dementia. You know, I'm sure that Michael James did other quilts in this period of his life, and they might be really resonant for you. So checking him out. He has a book from years ago that I have. I don't know that there's a newer one, but on his website, he has a lot of work on his website, Robin. So you might find things there that land with you. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Padma says it's good, a huge jump in style, and it's good to know these artists feel free to do that. Okay, yeah, like that. So so check this out. I'm very proud of these placards, you guys. Okay. So I pulled some quilts from these books. Good, Robin, good. And we're going to check some of them out. Because what I'm saying is, when I looked at Quilt National 1989, and then I jumped to Quilt National 2011, the change was huge. It was like, the zeitgeist, the grid quilts with the color, the strip piecing and the whole thing left the building, man. The difference between the 1989 art quilts and the 2011 art quilts are crazy different. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you 1989, and then I'm going to show you 2011, and then I'm going to show you quilts from 1999, which is halfway through, and you can see it changing. Oh. If you're excited about this like I'm excited about this, you're a nerd. You're a quilt nerd, and you're in the right place, because I'm really excited about this, and maybe that's weird, but I don't care. Okay. So I'm going to skip the first 3 because they're actually a little bit earlier. Let's go, but I'll come back to them. So this is very cool. This is by Judith Dingle. It's called Reconstruction. It was made in 1989, 32 by 60. And what you should know about this, it was photographed on a white background. So what you're looking at, see this? What you're looking at, so she's Canadian. She got an award in 1989 at the Dairy Barn for award for most innovative use of the medium. This is made from Dupioni silk, fiberglass screen, wooden rods, rubber grommets, and cotton. 32 by 60, photographed against a white background. I know. I'm like, whoa, what? Hey, Charles. Hey, wait a minute, Padma. Padma says, hey, there's another talk for you, Mary, how art quilt styles have changed over time. You know what? I think that sounds like a lecture. Art quilt evolution. Oh, I'm sure many people have done that very well. I will do it less well, but I'll have fun. Okay, so this Judith Dingle says, quote, recently I have been exploring 3-dimensional mixed media textile constructions that relate to the graphic imagery of my previous work. I don't know this artist, but I'll find out. While alluding to the quilt format, these wall pieces, by virtue of their construction and materials, extend the traditional definition of a quilt. Huh. I won't read all of that because we have a lot to cover, but so this is 1989. And this is honestly kind of an outlier. She's really going mixed media here. But let's take a look at some very 1989, saturated, extremely 1989 art quilts. Can this quilt and a Pauline Verbiage quilt hang out together? Yeah, they definitely can. They definitely can. These look like, cousins. This is Jane Reeves, Postmodern, 13. I love it. I love this. The interlocking pieces, the grids, strip sets, And it's translucent. Little Bird Stitch, I think that last quilt did have parts of it that was translucent because, it's hard to tell in the photo. But so this quilt, art quilts in 1989 were looking like this. And this is 80 by 70. And I was looking too at the sizes of these quilts. Like, did they change in size? This is Taffy Brown. Taffy Brown keeps coming up, and my lord, she's everywhere. Taffy Brown will be on the show very soon. I mean, we'll look at her work. She did a lot of cyanotype stuff. This is cyanotype. Like, most of the quilts I've seen from her that are in the folder now, the Taffy Brown folder, use cyanotype in them. I know. Yeah, it looked like a pipes work game. Yeah, totally. It looked like a video game, that last quilt too. So this is, and that's it. It's interesting. She's got this nature thing going, some organic shapes, this cyanotype stuff, but it's still very direct. There's these grids and strips, solids, lots of solids. Look up at the top. There's these purples. that dusty lavender shows up in a lot of 1980s quilts. Yes, it did look like plumbing. It's true. Oh, and we saw this one. This is a Jan Myers Newbery quilt. That's where I got this Jan Myers Newbery quilt, was in this book from 1989 from the Dairy Barn. So Jan Myers Newbery doing her thing. Very 1989. Very 1989. Okay. This is Chinese coins variation, Skylines. And it was made by Carol H. Gerson. 56 by 56. Very of a piece, right? Very, very, similar in that, it's like, okay, yeah, these quilts are in the same show. Got it, makes sense. Makes sense. This one's great. This is Helen Giddens. I've been seeing her around a lot too. Armadillo Highway, 1989. Oh, look at this piecing. This is great up here. I like this a lot up here. These like lightning bolt shapes. That's strip piecing too, isn't it? I like that. So, oh, look at the arrow. Do you see that? That's great. I think this is a very successful quilt. I don't know. To me, it's a quilt too that, like, it's using the form with great success. Oh, look at the armadillos. They're so cute. They're so cute. I love it too, Liz D. Molly says, I want to make a lightning bolt quilt now. Clearly, you must. Clearly, you must. And the Grandma Carpenter tribute quilt, you must. Oh, look at this checkerboard. That's great. And that palm leaf kind of thing down there. Anyway, Stephanie Cake. Hey, Stephanie Cake. You know what? I haven't been using my soundboard much tonight. Maybe I've been using it plenty. Stephanie Cake says, I had forgotten how much I love Armadillo Highway. Such a great quilt. You know what? I hadn't seen this quilt before. Look at you with your references. Very well done. And you know what? We haven't heard that one yet. The Quilt Nerd Award. And I love this print that she's using, right? For these, for the spikes, this like sort of zebra print or something. Really cool. Okay, so just a couple more here from 1989. I mean, kind of reminiscent of Yvonne Porcella, maybe a little, Yvonne was perhaps slightly more sophisticated than this. I don't know. This is Suma Smith, Primary Fantasy, 1989, 63 by 54. Bigger, almost throw size, kind of almost. But it's for the wall. That's probably the easiest way to define what a studio art quilt is. It's a quilt made for the wall and not for the bed. Though there's no embellishment or anything on this. You could put it on a bed. Here's one. Here's one here. This is Jan Maher, Reflections 4. I like this too. There's a Nancy Crow moment kind of happening, you could say. Interesting. They all feel like they're of a piece. Okay. Here is this one. I just love looking at these. I love them. I love the style of quilts in 1989. The studio art quilters, I like what they're doing here. Sonia wants to stitch armadillos on a quilt. Maybe there should be an armadillo quilt challenge. Whoever wants to organize it, please do it. Yeah. Okay, you're people are into these quilts, and I'm glad, and I'm very glad. Yeah, the border. Yes. Mother Nature loves the border with these triangles. Yeah. Me too. And the one I actually skipped it, but I'll go back to it. This our New Year's Eve quilt. This is not a great rendering of it because the color is pretty dark, but this is Ellen Oppenheimer, and this is the quilt called New Year's Eve Party. And here it is. I didn't know it, but it was in Quilt National in 1989, and this was the quilt we had behind us for the New Year's Eve show. And it was one of these moments. Nope, it was one of these moments. Because I was like, what quilt could I possibly find to be an appropriate background quilt for the New Year's Eve show? And then I literally found a quilt called New Year's Eve Party by Ellen Oppenheimer. And the more Ellen Oppenheimer stuff I see, the more I just really, really like what she does. So we'll talk about her one day. So, would you like to see what quilts looked like in 2011 at Quilt National? I'm glad you asked, because that's what we're going to do next after a quick break. That's what we're going to do next, but we have to take a quick break. Okay, so remember those quilts. We'll go back and forth. You don't have to remember too much, but now you're saturated. You're saturated in 1989 quilts, early art quilts. You got another thing coming. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, how's it going? Yeah, I was gonna do a big reveal. I was gonna do a big, entrance. Didn't work. I'm gonna get small. Help, I'm small. So we've got, but I do love that jazz. Anyway, okay, before we get into the second half of the show and we see the epoch change from 1989, art quilts to 2011, which is now 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. So how have art quilts changed since then? Okay. Little station identification, basically. I have things to tell you. First of all, the Quilt Nerds on Parade show. We do it quarterly. Let me hide that little thing so you can see everything. I want you to see everything. I don't have the chat, but okay. I can make the chat happen. It's not going to cover up anything. So the Quilt Nerd on Parade show happens every quarter, and it's a show where you send me something that you're working on, a picture, actually up to 5 pictures of something that you're working on. You pick one thing to share with me, and then I share it with everybody on the show. And there's an easy way to do it now. It's like even easier. It's easier for me, but it's also easier for you all. This will be the 3rd time we've done this. 3rd time's the charm. We've got a new way to do it. The show is June 28th at 7 p.m. Central Time. And so it's regular Tuesday night show, except it's a really special Quilt Nerd show. I'm hiding Estelle Witherspoon. She's there. Thank you, Word and Burn Nerd. Thank you so much to my mods. God bless you. God bless you. So it's a Google form, and it's available at quiltnerd.link/parade. Just go there and fill out your thing. It should be pretty self-explanatory. There's instructions on that. We've had several submissions, a number of submissions so far. And Susanna, the Quilt Nerd intern, I love her so much. I may ask her to marry me, but we're both already married. But anyway, she's great, and she really helped so much getting it going, and it works. So you go there and you write to me about what you're sharing, up to 5 pictures, and you'll be on the show, and we'll all celebrate you. And it's really fun. We're doing it a 3rd time because people love it, and I love it. So you all have the show. You have the floor on June 28th to share your stuff. It's open to anybody. You don't have to be a subscriber. It's not just a subscriber thing. It's not part of the tier structure. It's for anybody because it's you. You watch the show, share your stuff. If you subscribe, you get access to the Discord, which is great because you can kind of, it's a parade all the time on the Discord, but this is fun because it's live on the internet, Hey, Nancy. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, yeah. 200 words. If it's 250, it's fine. But we just I gotta keep it tight. Okay, so that's happening. Also happening, movie night. Saturday summer movie nights. They're hot. Not a special time, but Saturday night show at 8 p.m. But there are specific nights this summer that are going to be movie night. And we're going to watch a movie or several film things. Sometimes we watch videos on this show. I really love it, but you all really love it. And that's great because I also like doing reactions, to different things. And there's a lot of quilt media out there, actually, video media. There's tons of how-to content, of course. Oh my God, I should react to a show with me and my mom, like a live reaction to an old episode of Love of Quilting. What have I done? It would be really great though. Live react with my mom. Oh my God. Me and my mom should react to ourselves. Don't you think that that's a good idea? Don't you think that would be funny? I think that would be funny. Live react, Love of Quilting. Oh yes, that's right. Dee Marie, you saw it. Hey, Quack Quack Cat. So on June 18th, I went to marthastewartliving.com or whatever. And I became a subscriber to her channel for a free month, and I ripped all the videos from her body of work that had quilts in them. So we're gonna watch a bunch of Martha Stewart, clips from different episodes with Martha talking about quilts. It's not. she's really something. She's a handful. There's a few times she said something about quilts and I was like, excuse me? She said something in this one episode, this clip, she's like, who would ever make this? Not me. It would take far too long. I'm like, okay, like, whatever. But that's fine. So we're gonna do that. Hey, Natalie. So Mom and I will totally react to our own video. That would be kind of amazing. So on July 9th, Hearts and Hands, Julie Silber, the curator of the Esprit collection, we talked about that. It's come up several times. She is one of the writers for the Hearts and Hands book. So Pat Ferrero did a documentary. Julie was part of this whole thing. So we're going to do that. That's going to be great. July 23rd, How to Make an American Quilt. Winona Ryder. She's hot. Stranger Things, but long ago. After Heathers, before Stranger Things, Winona Ryder is in a movie called How to Make an American Quilt. We're going to watch it. I've never actually seen it. I really don't think I have, so we're going to watch it together. And hopefully Paramount Pictures or something won't copyright strike me. I don't think they will. August 13th, Quilts and Women's Lives, another documentary. That may be a double feature. I'm not sure. I think it's only a half an hour, so we'll see. And then August 23rd, TBD. I'm not totally sure what it'll be, but whatever it is, it's going to be a lot of fun for these Saturday summer movie nights. So you can plan around that and be there or be square. Okay. And then the last thing, or this other thing, is just that Quilt Nerd anniversary party, the centennial show, if you will. The 1-year anniversary of Quilt Nerd is on August 5th, one day before my birthday, which is on August 6th. That's how August 5th and August 6th work. Susanna and I have been developing, we've got plans, giveaways, prizes, bonuses, financial rewards. No, I'm kidding. No, but there's going to be fun things. And maybe I'll tell everybody to get cake. I'm going to tell you that right now. Everybody get some cake or whatever, dietary restrictions you have, get some kind of treat. And on the Saturday show at 8 p.m. on August 5th, wait, is that right? No. Hang on. No. I think it might be a Friday. Yeah, I think it's a Friday. It'll be a special fun show. Okay? So that is happening. The other thing to tell you that's a big deal, I'm going to tell you at the end of the show. That's why you got to stay tuned. It's time to get into what we were doing before, okay? We got to get serious. We have to get serious. This is serious content. This content matters. It does matter. I'm not kidding. It matters. Carrot cake. Charles says carrot cake is basically a vegetable. You know what? Agreed. Oh wait, where am I? I'm here. Okay. Hey, Okay Proud, on your calendar. You know what? Okay Proud. It would be great if my mom could join us. Let me just see. Mom on August 5th? Question mark? Circled on the Quilt Nerd content plan. Mom on August 5th? We'll see. Okay. Okay, it's okay. On the edge of your seats. Okay, Padma, you can see the chat now, right? Okay, good. So we saw the quilts in 1989. We saw them from Michael James. We saw them from Pauline Verbiage. We saw them from Jan Meyer's Newbery. We saw them from all those people who had quilts in this book. 1989. Skip forward, basically, 1989 to 1999, 20 years. 20 years. What do the quilts look like at Quilt National in 2011? I think you will see a difference. A big difference. I don't remember seeing any thread painting in 1989. There were people using, obviously, quilting to various effects. I'm going to zoom out again, actually, because you really kind of need to get the whole thing. And like I said, there's no, it's not a caper. It's not like some scandal. I keep talking about it like it's like, oh, well, now look at it 20 years later. What was happening? We've already established, it was technology. And it was innovation, and it was artists who had started making quilts in the 1980s who were 20 years older and are having a different life experience and pushing boundaries in a different way, But it's really different, right? Padma, what are you doing? Are you goofing? Oh, sorry. Yeah, felt like sweets. You know what, Charles? I got your postcard, by the way, or your stickers. I got your stickers. I love them. I love them. Oh, actually. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. Is this gonna work? Charles sent me a sticker. Charles, your sticker is on my computer. Look, birds aren't real. Birds aren't real. Blue Horse Beach Cafe. A sticker that says actual size, and Charles's sticker. Oh, and a Sakwa. Look, Studio Art Quilt member thing. What else do I have? Oh, I don't know. Thank you. Charles has stickers, everybody. I hope I hope that's not a problem, Charles. I don't know if you're selling them or if everybody's gonna be like, I want a sticker, but anyway, I love them. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, Charles felt like sweets. Yeah, you're gonna feel like sweets on the anniversary show because I'm gonna be eating lots of sugary things, I'm sure. Here's another quilt from 2011. This was made in 2010. Okay, Barbara W. Watler, Banana Bloom. Look at the level of... I love sticking stickers on my computer when they're good. It's valuable space. So the thread painting... I mean, I actually want to know more about thread painting. What that means. Because, what's the difference between thread painting and embroidery? I mean, I know that there's two different terms here. Embroidery can be many different kinds of embroidery. Thread painting is kind of like very heavy, dense stitching with a machine, I believe. But, they are amazing quilts, right, my great cats? They really are. And that's one of the things. Thread painting is very, very dense. Exactly, Stephanie Cake. Exactly. And so that is a difference between that and embroidery. But it does embroider, a quilt. So it's really interesting. But in 1989, number of thread painted quilts, 0. And 20 years later, very different. This is an interesting quilt. Because it's so long and narrow, it's kind of harder to show the whole thing close up, But I like this quilt a lot. I think it's really neat. It's called Wericata Moon, Pamela Fitzsimmons. I believe she's from Wales or something. But really interesting texture here with her quilting. Very minimalist. I mean, think about the plumbing quilt that we saw from 1989, the one that looked like plumbing, and how different it is, I mean, I just don't remember. And there's a lot of quilts in these books. I tried to pick things that were very representative of what I was seeing. And I was cropping quilts out and doing things, but then the full pages in some cases were the best way to show you what I wanted to talk about. So I've just got full pages scanned in too of a few things. So this is pretty minimalistic. It's so Natalie says, I feel like embroidery creates shapes and thread painting enhances shapes. Ooh, that's good. That's very good. Stephanie Cake says there's an amazing Dutch artist who does hand-stitched thread painting. Really? Ooh, wow, I'm writing it down. Anna Mikey Main. Wow, that is a very Dutch name. It seems extremely Dutch. That's great. Oh yeah. Well, look who it is. It's Ellen Oppenheimer. I the more and more I see her, the more I love her. Now this one to me, I wanted to include because she's great, but also because it is a little bit more reminiscent of the old days, if you will. What does she say, by the way? She says, this quilt is a very simple idea. Actually, hold on. Just a minute. I'm going to show you the quilt. Read you the thing. Aha! This quilt is a very simple idea. just a series of red and blue squares and frames with an interlocking shadow of purple squares and frames. I struggled with getting the color and the overlaying patterns the way I wanted for several years, and finally got close enough in the summer of 2010 to put the quilt together. Here it is. Still not exactly what I want, but better than the first try, which is on the back. Oh, I love it. That's so cool. That's great. Ah, these quilts are so good. Yes, indeed. Wait, who's back? Who's back? Glad you're back. Who's back? Somebody's back. Yeah, this is really, are they wovens? See that? I don't know. I would love to see the back of this quilt. I don't think so. Am I so close that we actually aren't being helped by this? I mean, it's really hard to tell what it is that she's done. Printed. Yeah, it's printed. Oh, Bonnie's back. Okay, good. Bonnie, I'm glad you're back. Yeah, I'm very glad you're back. So Ellen Oppenheimer is called BR number 1. Yeah, 62 by 62. Okay, so that's, to me, kind of an outlier. Oh, and then I found this. Look at this. I found this on Flickr. That's an Ellen Oppenheimer quilt there on the wall. It's not that quilt, right? No, it's not that quilt. But when I was looking for another Oppenheimer quilt, I found that and I thought I'd throw it in. Okay, and that's Pamela Studstill. Anyway. Okay, so Jan Meyer's Newbery, we saw this one. This is 2011. The quilt that I showed you was from Quilt National. We looked at this earlier in the evening. Okay, so this organic kind of shape. Look at this. A little bit different, you know, a little bit more fractured. The grid has been broken. It might be diagonal, but it's also not. It's not the same. It's more minimalist too than like the Pauline Verbiage, you know, early Pauline Verbiage stuff. The Jan Meyer's Newbery was lots of different fabrics. I mean, she was hand dyeing fabrics so that they would be like this ombre effect, you know, and it was minimalist, but sort of minimalist, maximalist thing. But this is 2 fabrics, and it is 76 by 76 by Kathleen Loomis. It's called Fault Lines. There's a good deal of modern style quilts that look a little like this, right? Kind of boring. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that into it either, but check this one out. Let this one tickle your fancy. Here's 2. So this is a scan, obviously, of 2 pages. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to hide the chat for a second because I've got a full scan here. It was just the best way. It was the quickest way to show you kind of what I wanted to show you, which is, again, water squiggles. You know, these people are going into nature. It's a wiggly line now in 2011. It's a hand-dyed relief, resist dyeing being used. Inky, yes, inky. Inky is great. Is a great word to describe. Painterly would be another word to describe these things. So in 20 years, the style has just changed a lot. It's really, really changed a lot. And there's raw edge applique, I see, in a lot of these quilts. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one in particular. Oh wow. Global warming, the great unraveling. This was done in 2009, people. Global warming, the great unraveling. Wow. Wow. So what she says about this, by the way, hang on, let me just find, sorry. Okay, sorry. Let me go back. Okay, 38. Paula Kovarik says, recycled bed sheets. Love it. Oh, plastic grocery bags. Baby blanket binding. Cotton batting. Cotton thread. Whole cloth. Hand and machine quilted. And tea stained. Tea stained. Tea stained. And she says, shrinking polar ice caps, oil exploration in pristine wilderness areas, temperatures rising. When does it end? Wow. Wow. Pretty amazing. Yeah, baby blanket binding. You can tell, right? That satin. So it's all reused, all reclaimed materials, which I don't know. In 89, were people doing that? I don't know. I'm sure, of course. There's always exceptions, or always people pushing forward the form, and doing exciting things. Here's a very good example to me of, interesting, of a quilt that just looks worlds away, an art quilt that looks worlds away from Michael James's early Aurora quilt, for example. Caroline Zaramet. Let's look at this really close up. There's, wonderful quilting in here, Bonnie. Okay, good luck. I'm glad that you had that report, Bonnie. Caroline says of Oil Spill, which she made in 2008. Oil Spill is a single-piece quilt produced by monoprinting and painting fabric using fiber-reactive dyes. The process is both challenging and exhilarating because the dyeing and curing steps often produce surprising results. Yeah, look down here. That's really cool. The title comes from the impression this work naturally evokes. I gotta put the chat back up. I miss the chat when it's not on screen. Oil Spill. Makes a lot of sense. This quilt called Oil Spill. Really interesting. Yeah. Wow. Robin's Nest said, I did a lot of tea staining on cross-stitch fabrics back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Interesting. Very interesting. Two more quilts that are very, to me, sort of like, I don't know, kind of in the, I don't know. You can sort of see, well, I don't know. These are so improvisationally pieced. There's strip piecing happening in this quilt. But over here, there is hand dyeing though. Look, this shibori stuff, it's everywhere. It just wasn't really in those quilts of the 1980s as much as I can see, as far as I can see. I know I'm painting with really broad strokes here, but it's just kind of fascinating to me. Now, and the other thing, and I could sort of save this observation till the end, but why do that? The whole thing that I've been thinking about with all of this is like, if you're making quilts and you're doing it in 2022, well, there's like a look for quilts today. There's many different kinds, but like the modern style quilt, minimalist stuff, or whatever the art quilters are doing these days. And, we're in an era. And like the reason I love history so much is you can look back and get a bird's eye view of what the world looked like at the time. And so when we look at art quilts in 1989, they really have a look to them. And then we look 20 years later at these quilts. Look at this. This is exactly what we're talking about, More and more painterly. Hey, Casanova, it's good to see you. So this is what's happening 20 years later, is nature. These are palm fronds. Michael James is like doing like, what is the thing? When you dye something with sunlight, you put a leaf on a piece of paper and like, and then you get the leaf, that thing, that thing that you do. But even if people knew that this was kind of like a thing and other people were trying this in 2011 and in the late 2010s and whatever, it's harder to have perspective on what's happening when you're in it. And so when we look at this, it's just completely different. It is organic as opposed to graphic. It is painterly as opposed to graphic designer like. All of these puddles and moisture and I don't know, opaqueness. There's a certain opaqueness to these things, in the way that they intended. It's not opaque from its meaning or whatever. It's just opaque. And the other stuff was crystal clear. And so if you're making quilts today, it's like, well, what is happening now? And are you okay with that? You might be like, yeah, I love experimenting with all the fabrics that we have, da, da, da. But if you're looking to do something different, it's like, well, that is possible, because there's probably a zeitgeist that's happening right now, and you can subvert that, or you can avoid that, or you can go against that grain, and that'll probably be pretty exciting, probably be pretty interesting, let me put it that way, Mod Squad versus Bob Ross. Penny Catherine, oh, you're so good, it's a problem. It's a problem. I'm calling the quilt police. No, it's great, exactly. Mod Squad versus Bob Ross. Exactly. Very well put. We do need a hug emoji. That's a great idea. Hug emoji. Yeah, because what do you yeah. Good call. Bonnie says, the technology changed so much from 1989 that it changed all the art quilts. Completely. I completely agree. I mean, what did it say? Dye reactive, fibers. They were able to do different things, and it's so exciting that they were able to put that into their art practice, to their quilt practice. Just a few more. Yeah, look at this. This woman from Bath. She says to us, let me get out a little bit. This is Sunsplash 2010. And look at the materials list. By the way, it's 45 by 65 inches. Smaller than, others in the past. Cotton, scrim, cardboard, non-woven translucent web, collaged, appliqued, and hand-stitched. And Fenella Davies says, quote, my pieces are designed to give a sense of place and mood, but pared down to a simple design element, the relationship of form and space. Implications of the past are a recurring theme, traces of history and places, to give a hint of what might have been, but ultimately leaving the definition to the viewer. Interesting. Whoop. Burp, burp. Okay. So we're seeing all of this, and I think just do I have a couple more. Okay, I've got this one. And this is a great example of what I'm talking about. Bridgewater says, remember heat reactive? Heat reactive dyes. Yeah, what was it? Color, like the shirts where you could put your hand on them. What was it called? And it was just like the coolest thing that you could put your hand on a shirt and your hand would leave a mark from heat. I mean, it was what was it called? We were so into it in high school or junior high. I don't know. What were they called? Thread painting. Okay, so people are talking about thread painting. Oh, parachute pants, forget about it. So this is one I wanted to show. Now, this did not show up in the 80s at all. And this is thread painting in the extreme. Tanya A. Brown. It's called Farmer Brown, 2010. 40 by 50. 40 by 50. I mean, maybe it's because thread painting is really intense and you don't want to do a really big piece. But here's my question. And I'm going to say it because I can have an opinion. I don't like this. I don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. It's totally cool if you like it. I'm sure Tanya Brown is awesome. She's clearly a talented artist. Oh my God. But what I said earlier about why make a quilt when you could make a painting? I do see here in this hat, in the woven hat, that, yeah, exactly, Stephanie. But I mean, and again, if you like this, it's totally cool. It's just not my jam. It's totally fine. But I see the work, I see the detail, the hair, it's pretty incredible. And I can see too how thread, unlike paint, gives you this particular texture. You can make texture with paint, but the fineness of hair, I mean, I have really wimpy hair. It's very fine, It's almost like little stitches of thread wimpy thread, so you can make hair using a quilting and, thread technique that makes a lot of sense. So actually, I totally concede that point. And his little sweatshirt here does look sort of felty and stuff. But there's something about this kind of quilt that there's a lot of this that happens. And obviously it was happening by 2011. Hollis Chatelaine is an artist who's world famous for her work. And they are incredible. Okay, Proud, they are incredible. And the modern quilters are doing it too. There was one of the winners, a big winner at QuiltCon this year, was a family portrait. And it was amazing. Like, I completely respect the work that goes into it and the skill. I couldn't possibly in 1,000 years create something like this. But for me, some of the portrait quilts, sometimes animals, they'll do a parrot or a tree frog or, something like that. And to me, it's is it a quilt though? And now I've, gotten myself into a corner. I probably shouldn't have said that at all. But I mean, what is the difference? I don't know. It's confusing to me. It's a quilt oh yeah, Kitty Hannah. Is this a quilt or a tapestry? I think that's a really good word to use. Is it a tapestry? Is it a piece of fiber art? And then you get into the whole mess of art and craft and what are quilts fiber art? Well, yes, but are all fiber art pieces quilts? No. I don't know. I juried a was it Quilt Festival? No, it was AQ. I forget. But I was with Alex Anderson and Weeks Wrinkle. And we juried a show, and there were a lot of thread paintings, and we were all really talking deeply and about these different things and where they fit in which category and stuff, and it was an interesting conversation. Okay. Charles says, I think the QuiltCon portrait may have been paper pieced. Oh, that's if that's true, and you're probably right, that's a big difference. Just because I would be surprised if the thread painting piece had gotten into the modern quilt world right now. I would be surprised. What did get into the QuiltCon world, though, the modern quilt world, is some embellishment. We talked about this. There were a few quilts with buttons on them. That was new, very new, and some different things. So that was interesting. Meyer says, the thread painting stuff, definitely not my style, but the artistry is impeccable and undeniable. 1,000%. Padma says, when does a quilt become textile art? Exactly. And Susan R. Michael says, definitively, not a tapestry, a quilt, period. Point blank, period. She's not messing around. And I mean, big respect to that. My Great Cats doesn't say quilt to me. You think it's amazing? It's a very interesting thing. Raffle says, if it's at least 2 layers of fabric stitched together, it's probably a quilt. Yeah, man. Okay. So, what have we learned? Well, we've learned that quilts at Quilt National, look at this, looked really different. Catherine K. Allen, Glass Garden Diptych, 54 by 108. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Painterly, exactly. Casanova said it, more painterly. It's just all about nature. It's all about nature, whereas in 89 it was all about, I don't know, man-made things, plumbing and buildings and those things. Okay, so this last, chapter is, where are you? Where did you go? Oh, 99. There you are. Okay. Oh, Grover asks, fabric lovers versus thread lovers. I love a soft fabric quilt, but also love amazing fiber art. Yeah, that's interesting. Fabric lovers versus thread lovers. That's interesting. Because of course, fabric is a fiber, but thread. When I think of fiber art, I often just picture in my mind, like nappy wool, sort of like, dangling threads of nappy wool, just sort of like, hanging from the ceiling, or some kind of wall hanging with like, lots of things hanging off, fringe and all, but fiber art can be so many things. But it's interesting because thread, when I think of fiber, I think of thread first, more than fabric, which is made of fibers. I mean, but yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting question. Okay, so we just looked at 2011. We looked at 1989. And I thought I would go to the middle part, not in the middle, but afterward, after we had seen just how much things had changed. Because it's like, well, okay, what did it look like in the middle of all that? And it's interesting. I mean, like, and human beings, we want to find patterns. We make patterns sometimes where there aren't any. That's how we like survive as a species. But I do see an interesting like seam when I look at like 1999 Quilt National. So check that out. You've got some hand dyed sort of shibori, like that green yellow over here on the side opposite me. So that's happening. And by the way, this is the one. So Quilt National 1999, the best in contemporary quilts. Okay. Yeah, I know. It's so great. Interesting. Yes, back to the earth. So, but here you've got, so you've got some of this, because remember, this is after 1989, before 2011. So it's in the middle of those eras. Oh, interesting. See, the Nancy Crow. So straight lines, but now they're curving a bit. Now they're undulating slightly. And Nancy Crow's early stuff, I should have showed you. I mean, Nancy Crow's early stuff was totally of that, like, that look. Our Lady of Guadalupe is a famous quilt of Nancy Crow's, and I mean, it looks so completely different from this. It just couldn't look more different from this. But Nancy Crow was a weaver, so maybe she's getting back to her roots, or she's thinking about fibers in a different way. This is called Construction 17, 1999, 41 by 82. She's not using rulers. Bang. Who was the artist on the previous one? The second one in 1999. Hang on. Second one in 1999. This one? This one, Padma? Heidi Stoll Weber. Heidi Stoll Weber. I can write that down. Heidi Stoll Weber. That's who that one is. Okay. Yeah. Wait. What did somebody said? It looks like a skirt. How do people... Grover asks, how do people make this kind of quilt look so cool? I would not get this result. I know. I wouldn't either. I mean, I don't understand line well enough. Like, and I can't sew very well. I mean, I can sew, but I can't like sew, and I feel like those little curves and things would not. Although she's probably doing what we talked about before, where she's doing a strip set and then cutting her curves. God knows. Hey, Penny. Wait. Oh, Kenny V. Kenny V's in the chat. Kenny, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. We're having a very good time, I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so great. All right. What else is happening? This is one of those pages where I just wanted to do the scan of the page because, okay, hang on. I gotta hide the chat. Look at these quilts next to each other. This is 1999. This is what's happening. This is in between the two eras we've looked at. And it's like, oh, okay, this definitely makes sense, this quilt. Like, it looks a little bit like Pauline Verbidge's early work, and it looks a little bit like, Nancy Crow's later work. I mean, it's a Japanese artist, Yasuko Saito. Movement number 4. Commercial and hand-dyed fabrics, some treated with paint. So the early stuff, it's all commercial. It's all commercial fabrics. Very few people are hand-dyeing their stuff. Taffy Brown, maybe. And then in 2011, everybody's hand-dyeing their stuff. They're like doing all of it, They're like, give me muslin. Let me be, I will do my own. Thank you very much. But can he change? You changed your name? You changed your name. Can he change his name? He's where he is. Where are you? I can't see. Where are you? You've lost you. Kenny's changed where he is. Kenny changed his initials for his location. I am here for it. Susan Armichael says, I think that, hold on now. I think the bias stretch might be affecting the long strip sets in the stripes quilt. Interesting. Oh, in this one, the mothers and daughters, this one, Susan. Interesting. 99 is a great vintage. It is a great vintage. I'm really into these quilts in 1999. It's very interesting. So yeah, so this is, you know, and Judy Hooarth of New South Wales, Australia. This is a diptych here. This is 2 halves. This quilt comes in 2 parts. It's not NC anymore, North Carolina. Okay. I like that. He's an enigma, our Kenny. God bless him. And Unmaker, by the way, says, I can't do anything in a straight line, so my strip sets look that way anyway. Same. So, okay. So that was called Mother's Daughters by Judy Hooarth. Let's see what else we got. Oh, interesting. Jane Lloyd made this quilt. Trick Track. Commercial hand-dyed cotton. Oh, interesting. Commercial hand-dyed. Poly fabrics. Direct applique, fused, embroidered, hand and machine stitched, 58 by 35. Fusing, raw edge applique. It's like, this kind of looks like Ellen Oppenheimer, like, you know, it's got that movement, it's got that like pizzazz of an Ellen Oppenheimer quilt, but there's no grid. The grid has been released. The grid has left the building for the most part, or the grid has been subverted or toyed with. Someone's toying with that grid. Interesting. And she says, by the way, Jane Lloyd says, treating the fabric like paper collage gave me great design freedom, thus making it more exciting to create. I liked the idea of using large seeding stitches, like planting a seed, seeding stitches, to form a different texture and embroidery, emphasizing some parts. Interesting. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested, quiltnerd.link/quilt national. What do you think I did? 1999. Quiltnerd.link, quilt national, 1989. Quiltnerd.link. I mean, these books are amazing. I think you should get these books for your library. Quilt National 2011. Okay, there you go. Couple more here. It's just, I mean, looking at the middle of the three sections here, you know, the 89, 11, and 99. I like looking at what happened in between. I love this quilt. I've seen this quilt before. It's called Swimmers, Tim Harding. It's part of a collection of there's a museum catalog I have that this quilt was shown in, this exhibit. It belongs to someone. Hey, what are you doing? Come back. Hold on, just a minute. Okay. Yeah, and I just really think it's tops. I think it's a really successful quilt. Okay. And Tim Harding says, in an effort to unify form with content, the representation of 2 underwater swimmers in a pool is partially obscured, but also revealed by my reverse applique method. Woo! This accomplishes an abstract, broken up image somewhat like the refraction of light that occurs in water. Oh, and we get more and more refractions of light as time goes on, you know? It's very interesting. Kenny says that's brilliant. Agreed. I use an iridescent silk, which is reflective. Let's get in here. Wow, this is real. Oh my God, look. Oh my God. Can you see that that's silk? That is silk, my friends. Wow. I use an iridescent silk, which is reflective like water. The surface texture is a broken up wave pattern such as you might see in a pool. A slight use of perspective is accomplished by a subtle foreshortening of the torsos and elongation of the arms. Oh my God. Light/shadow and figure/ground relationships are also used to create the illusion of depth. You know what, dude? You know what? You're a little too good, okay? It's amazing. Isn't that amazing? This quilt is amazing. Oh, yeah, Padma. Hang on. I'll show you what Padma just got. Padma just purchased. Hang on now. Aha. Padma, could this be what you just purchased? Contemporary art quilts. I don't have an affiliate link for this yet. But this is great, and this is where I saw this quilt initially. Oh, no, it's not. No, this isn't what you got. Hang on now. Hang on. I do want to find it, because I want to see how the... Oh, here's another one. Look at this. Here's another one by this guy. Tim Harding. Okay, I'll scan it. I'll scan it in. I live to scan for you. You know I do. Oh, look. There's the Pauline Verbiage quilt we saw. Don't read ahead. That counts for me too. Earth Girl Now. Hi. Yeah, I love it too. Hats off to Tim Harding. Agreed. Okay, so I think is that what I got for you? Oh, there's one more quilt, just one. And here's like the Nancy Crow. You know, you've got these long lines, sort of more yoga than like Peloton. You know what I mean? The 80s were like Peloton exercise style, you know. 1999 is more like yoga. Eleanor McCain from Florida. Commercial and hand-dyed cottons, machine pieced and quilted, 87 by 35 inches. Wow, that's really narrow. 87, very long. Length, 35 inches width. Interesting. She says, quilting provides a creative outlet that is grounded in family, community, and common experience, while offering unlimited problem solving, experimentation, and aesthetic range. I chose fabrics for their sensuality, tactile intimacy, familiarity, and tradition. Fabric has qualities of texture, light absorption, and reflection unmatched by any other medium. Excuse me? Yeah. This quilt is an exploration of color, interrelationships, and line. So, I mean... Oh, yeah, Art Quilts Unfolding. Oh, yeah, 50 Years of Animation. That's a great one, Padma. That's really good. M. Sujan, what's going on? M. Sujan, are you guys still here? Are you there? What happened? Refresh. You have to refresh. Beach towel size. Exactly. Bridgewater says, 1999, just a few years away from Joyce Powder and just about the time of Billy Blank, yet Richard Simmons was going strong. It was, you know what it was? It was a crack up. It was a crack up, that's what it was. I was in college, undergrad. Okay, so that's what I've got to say. That's what I've got to say. And to wrap it all up, I found, while I was looking at something else, of course, I found a person, there's like 5 slides. I'm just going to go through it like briefly because this person seems to have combined everything. Her name is Judith Content. And when I saw her, I was like, oh, well, she's married the whole thing, like completely. She's got like grids. This is 1998. So she's playing with those organic shapes. She's doing hand dyes. And yet she's got it's like the perfect marriage to me of 1989 and 2011. I don't know. I felt that way. And I was like, well, that's how I'll round out this crazy exploration. And it really has kind of been, y'all, kind of a different show tonight, right? I mean, it was all one piece tonight. I just wanted to explore that. I wanted to look at why or how Michael James and Pauline Verbiage and all these people just really, really are just making work that just hardly resembles what they did in the beginning. And I think tonight, like talking with you all about it, Bonnie Kane says, in 1989, I was very single. So was I. I was like, I was 10, so I was single. So yeah, but talking with you all about it, it's about technology. It's about aging, the most beautiful kind of aging, which is like, getting wiser, perhaps slowing down a little bit, all those things. And yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting thing. And to me, it's like, yeah, what the message for you, I guess, if there's a message, the audacity of me to give you a message about what you're making. But, it's easy to see with the bird's eye view when you look back at a time period, from where we are now. And it's like, what's going on right now then? What are they going to say about this period of quilt making in America in 10 years? And are you excited by it? Do you like it? Or do you want to do something completely different? There is no right answer to that question, Let's, Word and Bird Nerd. Let's come back in 20 years and do this again. Approved. Thanks, Padma. Okay, so technology and hand dyes, I'm telling you. We have enough examples to make it a whole episode on the kimono shape in quilts now. I saw another kimono besides this one. I'm telling you, it's a crack up. Okay, you guys, you've been with me throughout this show, and now I'm going to give you some really exciting news. Let's get this behind me. Oh, okay. So here's the deal, people. Susanna and I were looking at Twitch functionality today. And there is a functionality, there's a function of Twitch that's really cool. And we haven't been using it. Some of you have been using the thimbles. The thimbles are channel points. Now, since I am host of the show, Bonnie, I like it. The host of the show, I have a different screen than you have, but I believe that when you send a message, when you want to put a message into the chat, you can put channel points behind it, or you can spend your channel points. And the channel, and every channel can name what their channel points are. I've called mine thimbles, and there's like a little thimble. Oh, great. Oh, Susan pieced a lot of your quilt top during the show tonight. Heck yeah. That's awesome. I'm so glad. So channel points can be used to redeem things. You can highlight your message. If you want to make sure that I see it, some of you do this. You can highlight your message. You can spend 100 thimbles out of your thimble bank to highlight your message. Oh, this is just one use of channel points. Kenny V has highlighted his message. That's right. Okay, Word and Bird Nerd has told us, not surprisingly, she has 56,860 thimbles. Now, the good news that I've been, threatening you with is that we haven't been using channel points ever in this show. You get 220 thimbles for every hour of the show that you watch. Susanna and I were looking at this today. If you give a gift sub, you get a bunch of points. If you're a subscriber, you get like twice the points. It's like, for every $1 you spend on the Chase Sapphire card, we'll give you twice the cash back or something. Linda ARP, I've been making prayer flags. See, Linda ARP just spent 100 thimbles out of her channel points, what she's accrued, to highlight that message. I've been making prayer flags. And as I'm reading the chat during the show, if a message is highlighted, it really catches my eye. So you can say, like, if you really want me to see something, I hope I can see it anyway, but the highlighted message, wow. It really gets my attention. Do you have to be watching the show live? It's okay, has a great question. Do we have to be watching the show live to, hold on. I gotta refresh. I clicked on something. I think you're gonna ask, hold on. It's okay. Hold on. Oh, what was your question? Okay, Wait. Do you have to be watching the show to use your channel points? I think that was your question. Definitely ask it again if I'm not right. I'm not sure that that's true. Certainly, if the broadcast has ended, you can't highlight a chat, obviously. But but I'm sure that, I don't know. So you can highlight let me show you the benefits, because who else has lots? So there's questions about where, okay, okay. Yeah, okay, I think I answered your question. So let me go to my screen and show you what you can get. You can buy things with your channel points. You can highlight your message, you can do all of this different stuff. But I've made some exciting extra things that you can buy. It was really fun. Susanna and I were having a good time. So here we go. Okay. You ready for this? Okay. Wait, I gotta get small. Hang on, I gotta get small. Help, I'm small. Okay. So now, as for like where to, how many channel points you have personally and where you go to see it, you're getting great help in the chat. For how many points, where to look for how many thimbles you have accrued at this point, and the mods can help with that, and just helpful people in the chat. This is new to me too, and it's humorous, I think, that we haven't been using the channel points yet, but there's no time like the present. And many of you, I suspect, look what Sonia just said, I'm at 15,000.4 thimbles. That's a lot. I think people who watch Twitch channels, they get points and they spend them. I don't know. If someone was going to look at the Quilt Nerd, subscriber list or follower list, I think you can get thimbles if you're just a follower. It's not just a subscriber thing, I'm pretty sure. We'll find out. It's new to me too. But you can, if people looked at us, they'd be like, wow, the people who watch this show are so judicious. They are savers. They save their thimbles. So, but here's the thing. So if you want to, spend 250 thimbles, you can be the soundboard pirate. For 250 thimbles, you can be the soundboard pirate. Oh, Dee Marie redeemed the soundboard pirate at 250. Dee Marie, soundboard pirate, the siren. See, Dee Marie just made me do it. You just made me do it. You made me play the siren. And I was thrilled to do it. And you spent 250 thimbles. Really, it's nothing. For your siren. I just thought it'd be fun. The crisp selector, what does that mean? If you spend 3,000, I don't know how any of this works. This is all just for fun. The crisp selector, if you spend 3,000 points, you can be the crisp selector. And the crisp selector gets to choose what flavor of chip, could be any kind of chip, for the next show. And I say in the specifications, please do not request a pickle flavored chip or a bug flavored chip. That was Dee Marie. That was you. Your siren. You got your siren. I hope that made sense. Soundboard pirate. Okay, so then what else? What else have I made for you? The comedy club manager. See, all of these are roles. Soundboard pirate, crisp selector, comedy club manager. For 7,000 points, I don't know if this one's gonna go. We'll see. We'll see what people like. I'll tell a joke. For 7,000 points. I think I made it 7,000 so that I've got some really good jokes, but I don't have that many. So I was like, well, if I make it really cheap, if I make it not that many thimbles, A, it might get old, and B, I'll have to come up with some more really good jokes. But if you want to hear a joke, spend some thimbles. Didn't cost you anything. You're just watching the show. And this one's really exciting, and more will be added all the time. I think it's really fun to do this. Content director for 15,000 points, which, by the way, Sonia, you have just enough for this. So Natalie has 17,000 points. Okay, and yes, Robin's Nest says you do have to be watching the show to use thimbles. Check this out. When you unlock this reward, you get to choose a topic for an upcoming show. You get to choose a topic. So if you're like, I want you to finally, let me close that. Talk about Ruth McDowell. Can you please talk about Ruth McDowell? She's my favorite. Or, oh boy, what did I do? Or, you get the point. If you want me to talk about, well, you, I guess. I mean, we could do that. Sorry, let me get out of that. Oh my God, oh my God, you're all redeeming things. Oh no. Okay, comedy. Oh my God. Okay, soundboard pirate. Linda ARP. Okay, Linda ARP. I missed that. Let me pull this down here for Lord's sake. Linda ARP, I owe you 2 soundboard pirates. What do you want to hear? Linda, what do you want to hear? I completely missed that. Not cool. Linda ARP, you got to tell me. What do you want? You get 2 because I missed it. Oh no. Linda, you better come in hot here. Tangy Taste, you don't have, okay, Tangy. Thank you, Tangy Taste. I appreciate you. Thanks for answering questions. Jokes away. Well, okay, oh, Lord, okay. Well, let's get this back up. I got to get a good background for when I'm telling a joke. Oh, God. So, My Great Cats wants a joke. Okay. And My Great Cat says, my thimble dropped 7,000 points for the joke. Yeah, the joke cost 7,000 points, but it's really good. Now, there's also a warning. Just telling you, there's a warning. These jokes, not all of them, but many of them are intended for an adult audience only, okay? So, yes, exactly. I will read all, you know what? I need to make sure there's an alert sound for when someone redeems these. That's really important, actually, because I can set up like a ding 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 ding, if somebody does something. Yeah, sounds on thimbles. That's a big circle. Okay. Oh no, Bonnie says, I think I spent all of mine by accidentally hitting the button. Bonnie, don't do that. Okay, first of all, let me just catch up. Here's a joke. You ready? This is a blue one. Oh God, I don't know. Hey, this is all a really bad idea. Okay. This is okay, it's the best joke I've ever heard. Okay. Oh, it's really blue. Listen, if you don't want to hear, it's a dirty joke. It's a dirty joke. But the structure of the joke is so good. Just okay. All right, Earth Girl now. Oh yeah, okay, Linda wanted the duck. Linda. Okay. We're going to get there. Thank you, Linda. Here we go. What's the last thing you want to hear when you're giving Willie Nelson a blowjob? I'm not Willie Nelson. I'm just gonna go away. Oh God, I'm never showing my face again. I'm sorry. It's just so good though. Ooh. I'm just gonna go over here. Ooh. I'll just be here. I'm in the box. It's a good one. It is. And I told you it was like, it's a dirty joke, but it's a good one. The way it's so brief, right? It's so just get in and out there. So that's okay. Worth all the 7,000 thimbles. Good. And I do have a lot of really good ones, and I have ones that aren't dirty at all, because some of the best jokes are just funny and they have nothing to do with adult humor. Yes, Estelle Witherspoon. Exactly. Robin's Nest and 70 Cake coming in with Estelle. I do need a pocket. Hey, it's okay. Highlighted a message asking my question again. Okay. Oh, okay. Do we need to be watching live to earn points, or do we also earn them while watching the replay? Oh, it's okay. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. I thought you meant, could you spend? I misunderstood. I thought you were asking, can we spend channel points while watching the replay, which was a very good question also. And I, yes, and people responded, but it was the wrong. I misunderstood. So, do we need to be watching live to earn points? To earn points, exactly. What do you all, does somebody know, that? You do, okay, Robin's Nest says, yes, you do have to be watching a live to earn the points. You don't earn points by watching a replay. Interesting. So I hope that helps. I do need a pocket. Okay, you need to be watching live to earn points. So this is a new layer in our show experience. I think it's really fun, and I'll be adding other things, And the tier structure, the subscription structure this is what it is to have a hand. And like whenever Susanna is in the show, is in the chat, she's in Q8, so she's like, if I get up really early, I can usually catch the tail end of the show, and. I mean, believe me, I'm thinking about what I can do for her to thank her. But like having two heads is better than one. And like the tier structure, the figuring out channel bits finally, and like doing all this, it's really amazing to have a hand. And we meet every week at least, and we're on a Slack together, and it's like it just makes a world of difference. And I'm so grateful. But I have to say, I don't think I could really have had a person until now, maybe even until I know what I need to do. Anyway, so tier 2. If you're a tier 2 subscriber, you get the floating baby emote. There's just one tier 2 special emote right now, but it's that floating baby. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I know that's a lot. Thank you for sticking around to see the good news, because it is really good news. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing that we'll figure out is like, well, I don't know. If you're a subscriber and you're in Chicago, like you have an open invitation to come on the show. You just do. That's not a subscriber thing. If you're a quilt nerd and you're in Chicago and you want to do it, come to this dark office building that I'm sitting in right now. Sitting with a nerd and doing the show, and like doing a show like we did tonight where we're like analyzing art quilts over the course of 30 years. How cool would that be? And you might be a natural. And if you're a natural, you need to start your own show on Twitch. A rising tide raises all boats. I'm serious. More shows on Twitch about quilts. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Think about what you're gonna do with all your thimbles. All right, bye everybody. Have a good night, and I will see you on Saturday night. Amazing show. I already know kind of what I'm gonna do, and you're the best, and I love being with you, and this is like the best thing ever. I love doing it. I'm blessed. Okay. Oh, Word and Bird Nerd. I don't think I have the music. I didn't fix the music yet on the outro, but I will. Okay, so it's not the regular music. Okay, but here it is.